Okay, so here's where I left off. I am, what am I doing? Oh, I'm going to analyze the graph. I'm going to find the intersection so I can find that point right there. So it's about negative 2.11. I've got to do the same thing right there because I need that value. So I'm going to do menu, analyze graph, find the intersection, and I got to do it here to there. So that's 4.61. Okay, so I'm going to write all this down over here. So I've got this part of the graph right here, okay? My x values are going from negative infinity up to negative 2.11. And don't include that. Remember, I made this just less than, so that means we don't include that point, okay? Then I've got to union that with, okay, we go to the asymptote. We can't include the asymptote, but on the other side of the asymptote is at negative 2. And it goes all the way, because remember, we're talking about being underneath that red line. So that whole graph right there. So it goes all the way to 4. And then we're going to union that with, pick back up on the other side of the line, but not until we get to 4.61. And then that goes on to infinity. Okay, so we've got 3 pieces. This piece, which goes from negative infinity up to the negative 2.11. Then we got to skip over the asymptote. And we skip over the asymptote. The asymptote's at negative 2. And we can include all the x values that are between negative 2 and positive 4. And then we got to skip over the asymptote and start back up at 4.61. And then we go all the way to infinity. That's everywhere the graph is less than. Now, I certainly could have asked you instead for, and I'll do this one in green, when is this graph above? When is the blue graph above the red lines? Okay, well, that would just be this little piece right here and this little piece right here. Now, remember, we have an asymptote right here at negative 2, and we have an asymptote right here at 4. So it's going to be above that red line. This right here is going to be above the value of 5, okay? Starting at negative 2.11, and it's going to stop when it gets to the asymptote, which is at negative 2. And then we're going to union that with, okay, it starts back over here on the other side of the asymptote. So it's going to start back at 4, and then it's going to be all of this right here, which is everything between 4 and 4.61. Okay, again, this is interval notation. You may need to write this in inequality notation. If you did, it would just be 2.11 less, not equal to, because we don't have a bar. 2.11 is between, the x values are between negative 2.11 and negative 2, and the values between 4 and 4.61. Okay, that's how you would write this right here in interval notation. I mean, in inequality notation. And if they wanted it in set builder notation, which I can't believe they would, but you would just put x such that, and then put brackets around that, and x such that, and just put brackets around that. They might include right here before this, x is an element of the reals. Okay, because they do that sometimes. X is an element of the reals. But anyway, that's those are all the different ways that you have to write those answers. Okay, I do have one other example. Just because it's a different equation right here, it's 2 different fractions, 2 different rationals, that's okay. The calculator has already put those together and done all the magic stuff. I think in your textbook or in the problem, where's the Yeah, I said this thing right here. Where is this thing greater than 0? So where is this thing right here? Where is this thing right here greater than 0? I wanted to change colors. Greater than 0. Okay, so that means where is the black graph above the pink line? Okay, that's what they want to know. Where is the black graph above the pink line? Well, guess what? I can't really tell right there. Boy, that's 0.5, so maybe I just need to check my window real quick. But I want to know where it's above. Well, it's above here and it's above here. All of this is below, so I don't really care about that. So this is the part of the graph that I want to see. So I'm going to go to Menu. I'm going to go to Zoom and Window Settings. X-axis is fine. I don't really care all about that. I'm going to say -1. And let's see if that makes it a little bit easier. No, not really. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more right there. I want to do Menu, Zoom in, Window Settings. Just for a minute, I'm going to do -1 to +1. Okay. So I can see now that I'm only dealing, above is all of this. I probably have an asymptote at 0 and where else? At -2. Let me see if I can draw those in. Asymptote at 0. Asymptote right there. And at -2. Oh, what are these counting by? I don't know what I'm counting by. 0.1s. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I don't know what I'm counting by. What is my scale? Menu, actions. Oh no. Sorry, I want to go to window. Let's do -4. 4. Just see if that makes it look a little bit better. Oh no, I messed that up even more. Okay, so I've messed this up. I'm going to go to Menu. I'm going to go to Window, and I'm going to go back to Standard. Maybe I can see it a little bit better now. So anyway, I do know that that's passing underneath there. So I can see now at -2, I do have that asymptote that I was talking about right there at -2. See, all of this is fitting between the asymptote at -2. There's the asymptote at -2. There's the asymptote at 0. But I'm looking for where this is above. So I need this. It's acting like an asymptote right there. And this one right here, it's crossing. So I need to find out where it crosses. So what do? I do Menu. I do 6 and 4. And it looks like I have an intersection somewhere between there and there. And it shows you right there that it's crossing the x-axis at 2. So I'm wondering if this is crossing the x-axis, this one right here may also be crossing the x-axis. I might need to scoot it down over here and see, or I could, since I can't see, but see, remember, here's what I'm trying to point out, that if this one crosses the x-axis, then that means that my end behavior is not, my asymptote is not at 0. And this one right here looks like it might be, but I can tell real quick if I go look at the, let's see, I could trace. Let's do trace. Trace the graph. And I'm running out of time. So where am I tracing the graph? F3. Why won't it let me trace? There, it's tracing. Okay, so I'm out at So I don't think